On the 27th of September 1825, Locomotion No.1, designed by George and Robert Stephenson, made history. This was the first locomotive to haul passengers on the world's first public railway, the Stockton and Darlington Railway from Shildon to Stockton. Fast forward 2 decades later, and we are celebrating 200 years of the modern railway and also 200 years of the Stockton and Darlington Railway. And how we're going to celebrate this by recreating as much as possible of the first railway journey that Locomotion No.1 took from Shildon to Stockton. The current Shildon railway station is technically not the first railway station in Shildon. Back then there was no railway station, but it was roughly just right behind me here. All it was back then was a level crossing and a coal yard interchange. This is where Locomotion No.1 started its journey to Stockton on the 27th of September 1825. And the building right behind me, Cape to Cairo, used to be the Mason Arms. And the Stockton and Darlington Railway did brought some rooms there to act as a booking office to sell tickets to passengers. Where the site of the 1825 railway station used to be, it's just up there. We're actually heading this way along the old track bed of the Stockton and Darlington Railway as we're going in this direction. If you carry on walking down that path, it takes you to Locomotion, which is a railway museum, and also Shildon railway station. And the current railway station was opened in 1842. It's an unstaffed northern railway station with your basic facilities like waiting shelters. And this station is also on the Bishop Auckland to Darlington line. But what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be travelling down the Stockton and Darlington line towards Darlington and stopping off at a few railway stations along the way. So we are waiting for the 10:30 northern service to Saltburn, and the next station we're going to is Newton Aycliffe. The next railway station en route is Newton Aycliffe. The railway came through here in 1825, but this railway station has nothing to do with the Stockton and Darlington Railway. This station opened on the 9th of January 1978 by British Rail, and this railway station is also an unstaffed railway station with basic facilities, waiting shelter, a footbridge, and there's not really much about this railway station to say. East of this railway station there was a junction, and this junction was the Clarence Railway, which took trains to Port Clarence and Stockton by a different route. And this was also a rival company to the Stockton and Darlington Railway, but this company also suffered financial difficulties when it first opened as well. And those Class 43 HSTs is the other reason why I stopped off at Newton Aycliffe station, just to capture that stock move. But I'm going to head over to the other platform now, wait for the 11:37 northern service to Saltburn, and the next station we'll go to is Hyington.
Now approaching. If you leave the train here, please take note.
If you were to ask me the oldest railway station in the United Kingdom, my answer will possibly be Broad Green Station on the Liverpool and Manchester Railway. But that answer is actually wrong, because I have learned after watching YouTube videos, Hyington Station is actually the oldest railway station in the United Kingdom. And it's also got quite a bit of history at this railway station as well. And I do apologise for calling it Hyington back at Newton Aycliffe. Hyington is an unstaffed northern station with basic facilities like waiting shelters. But it's also got 2 platforms, and the platforms are staggered platforms here. Between the platforms it does have a level crossing, which I do love, a good level crossing. It's also got a signal box next door to the railway station, and honestly that is a good looking signal box. But also it has a station building which now is disused, and that is the Stockton and Darlington station building, which dates back to 1827. And that used to be an agent's office and also a tavern as well. The railway came through Huyton in 1825, but the railway station wasn't built until April 1826. And then a year later, the tavern and the agent's office was built in 1827, which is that old station building. But this was also the location on the 16th September 1825, where George Stephenson put Locomotion No.1 onto the tracks for the first time and started its test runs before the opening ceremony train on the 27th September 1825. But if he had a look at this area today, he will be disappointed. It's just surrounded by industrial estate. And it's a nice station in an industrial area, which is a real shame. But we shall be moving on to our next railway station. We are waiting for the 12:40 Northern service to Saltburn, which is running about 5 minutes late at the moment, and the next station we are going to is North Road, at one point, which is Darlington's only railway station until the second station opened. The next station on the line at one point was Darlington's only railway station until Darlington Bank Top Station opened in 1887. That railway station is today's Darlington railway station on the East Coast Main Line, and really that does look beautiful. However, North Road Station, where I'm currently at, is the complete opposite. It's an unstaffed northern station with one platform and basic facilities like a small waiting shelter. And it's really opposite to the other Darlington railway station. But if I turn the camera this way around, behind me is an old train shed, and that really does look beautiful, but sadly that train shed is not in railway use anymore. However, that train shed still does see trains passing through it as they're heading towards Bishop Auckland. North Road Station was opened in 1842, replacing the 1825 railway station. The 1825 railway station is now the site of Hometown, Darlington, which is a railway museum. In 1868, it was renamed from Darlington, when it first opened, to Darlington North Road. And in 1938, it was renamed to its current name, North Road. Also, this was a junction station for the Darlington and Barnard Castle Railway, which opened in 1856 to Barnard Castle and closed in 1965. I do need to go to Barnard Castle one day for my eye appointment. But we shall be leaving North Road on the 1448 Northern service of Saltburn. We're going to bypass Darlington railway station, and the next station we're going to is Dinsdale. As soon as we leave North Road Station, we pass an impressive stone arch bridge, the Skern Bridge, which crosses the River Skern. Designed by Ignatius Bomilly and built by Francis Peacock of Yarm, it is the oldest railway bridge in the world that is still in continuous use. So we have now made it to Dinsdale Station, and this railway station has nothing to do with the Stockton and Darlington Railway except for one thing. It actually replaced the earlier station that was opened by the Stockton and Darlington Railway. When this station was opened in 1887 by the North Eastern Railway, it replaced a station called Fighting Cocks, and that was on a completely different route to the route that we got now. At North Road Station, today trains go into Darlington on the East Coast Main Line, and then they leave the East Coast Main Line to go by Dinsdale and then rejoin the Stockton and Darlington Railway route just east of Dinsdale Station. Back then, after North Road Station, they actually went a completely different way via Fighting Cocks. But unfortunately, that part from North Road Station to just east of Dinsdale Station is now an abandoned railway line, but you can actually walk that disused railway line. And that is what we are doing right now. We shall be walking the disused section of the Stockton and Darlington Railway as we're heading to Fighting Cocks on foot. The first thing I've noticed is this bridge right behind me. This used to carry the railway line, but now it actually carries a road, the B6297. Unfortunately, we shall be following most of that road for the first part of this walk. So at one point we shall be walking on the original track bed of the Stockton and Darlington Railway. And I've just noticed something to the left of me here. What is that? Oh, I know what that is. Those, how they laid the rails for the original Stockton and Darlington Railway route. This is only a demonstration though, but the stone blocks were the sleepers and the wrought iron rails were laid on top of those stone blocks. Very interested to see that. Really interesting. So the good news is we shall be leaving the B6279 road and we're actually heading in that direction over there. That path leads us to a bridge. We go over the bridge, and as soon as we cross the bridge, we should be then on the alignment on the Stockton and Darlington Railway and actually walking a disused railway line. So we're going to head in that direction right now. So that path is where we just came from, which is that bridge going over the road. In this direction over here, this is actually the old alignment that took you to Darlington North Road, or North Road Station. I'll turn the camera this way and heading in this direction. This is now the track bed of the old Stockton and Darlington Railway as we're about to walk on it right now. So this part of the Stockton and Darlington Railway route starts turning right now as it's heading towards Middleton St George, and that's where we are heading to our disused railway station. But honestly, walking this disused part of the Stockton and Darlington Railway has really been quite interesting. I have walked some disused railways before, but this one, it just feels different because you're actually walking on a part of history. So we're not too far away from Fighting Cocks railway station. It's literally just round the corner from here. So we're going to carry on walking now and finding that disused railway station. So the site of Fighting Cocks railway station is actually just on the other side of this road, and we're going to cross this road right now. So now standing on the site of Fighting Cocks railway station, and there is some interesting things on site at this former railway station. Just over here, that is the old waiting shed. It's not a full shed, but so it has been preserved. If we look in this direction over here, that is the old station building for Fighting Cocks. Sadly not in railway use anymore because that's in private use. I will turn the camera over here. You just make that building over there. That is actually a Sainsbury's, but that used to be a pub, and that's where the name Fighting Cocks came from, because that was the Fighting Cocks Inn. And also this station unofficially opened on the 10th of October 1825 by the Stockton and Darlington Railway. It wasn't until 1830 it became an advertised station and official station. Back then it was called Middleton and Dinsdale. In 1866 it was renamed to Fighting Cocks. In 1887 this station closed to passengers when Dinsdale station opened, but was kept open for freight until 1964. The walk isn't over. There is one more location to look at, and this location is where the line from Dinsdale rejoined the Stockton and Darlington Railway main line, and this is Oak Tree Junction, and that's where I'm heading to next to finish this walk. So this part of the walk where I'm currently at is actually the end of the walk. Right behind it is the railway line, because this is where Oak Tree Junction used to be. This is where the line from Dinsdale rejoined the 1825 route of the Stockton and Darlington Railway. If I turn the camera this way, we are looking towards Dinsdale. And if I turn the camera in this direction, we are looking towards Allens West and Eagles Cliff. And we're going to be joining the train now as we head to our next station, Allens West. So after a walk on that disused stretch of the 1825 route to east of Dinsdale Station, We're now back on the 1825 Stockton and Darlington Railway route, and it has brought us to the next railway station, Allens West. Allens West railway station was actually built much later. It opened in 1943 by the London and North Eastern Railway, but it was also an unadvertised station. When it was opened, it was named Ewley Nook Halt. Until 1944, it was renamed to Allens West Halt, but this station was also built to serve the nearby Royal Navy Stores Depot. It wasn't until 1971, when housing development was being built in the area, and this station actually became a station on the public timetable. Allens West Station is an unstaffed northern station with basic facilities like waiting shelters. At the east end of the railway station it does have a level crossing as well, which I do love a good level crossing. And this is also the last railway station on the original Stockton and Darlington Railway route, because the next station is on a completely different route, so waiting for our next train now and head to Eagles Cliff Station.
We're now approaching Eagles Cliff.
So we have now reached the penultimate station that we're stopping off at. This is Eagles Cliff. Eagles Cliff Station is not on the original Stockton and Darlington Railway route, but it's also good to see that this railway station is undergoing redevelopment at the moment, and this station will become a step-free access station. However, Eagles Cliff Station is disabled access friendly with these ramps, but to be honest, I would not want to be in a wheelchair going up this hill getting to the railway station. This station was also opened in 1852 by the Leeds Northern Railway, and it's also a junction station for services towards Northallerton, Darlington, Stockton and Middlesbrough. However, the original 1825 alignment of the Stockton and Darlington Railway was actually located east of Yarn Road, which isn't too far from this railway station. The only problem is when trains were running, North Preston was absolutely not in the mood for those trains. I was really upset about it because it caused disruption to his cows. So in the end, they had to realign the Stockton and Darlington Railway route to the west side of Yarn Road. The next and final station on the Stockton and Darlington Railway is Stockton. However though, it's not the current Stockton station that's open. It's actually a different railway station and it's now disused. However though, we're going to be catching the 1707 Northern service to Fornaby, because Fornaby does have some interesting history and it does tie with the original Stockton station on the Stockton and Darlington Railway. So we're going to catch the 1707 Northern service to Saltburn and let's head to Fornaby station.
We're now approaching Fornaby. If you leave
So we have now made it to Fornaby railway station, and this railway station I'm currently standing on has nothing to do with the Stockton and Darlington Railway except for two things. First of all, when this station opened in 1882, it carried the name South Stockton, which actually replaced an earlier station called South Stockton, which was south of this railway station heading towards Eagles Cliff, and the site of the first South Stockton station actually replaced the Stockton and Darlington Railway's 1825 railway station. And the second thing is the 1825 railway station. This station at Fornaby is the closest station to that disused railway station. All you got to do is cross a bridge over the River Tees. Just beyond the River Tees is this building right behind me here. This is the original Stockton station, which opened on the 27th of September 1825 and also known as Stockton Bridge Road, but the station closed to passengers in 1848 when passengers were transferred to South Stockton Station, but it also remained open for freight. And also this is where they laid the first rails here for the Stockton and Darlington Railway. So we have a ride back at Thornaby Railway Station where it's a bit quiet, because where the 1825 station lies, it actually lies on a busy junction with cars, buses and lorries passing through. But travelling from Shildon to Stockton today recreated the first passenger train on the 27th of September 1825 has really been an interesting experience and enjoyable. Also visiting a few railway stations en route as well. And celebrating 200 years of the modern railway and celebrating 200 years of the Stockton and Darlington Railway has really been wonderful to experience that today. Happy 200th birthday to the first public railway and to the Stockton and Darlington Railway. For now, I'm going to drop another video right here. Feel free to give that a click. The people on screen now, YouTube channel members and Patreon supporters, thank you for supporting the channel. I've been SimOnTrains and hope to see you next railway station so we can share a new journey together. Thanks for watching.